Hey everybody, I'm Tuckifer,
And I'm Benigma.
and welcome to Story Time, or maybe it's true.
Maybe it's not. We'll let you decide.
Story time.
I hate thinking.
We could tell the story about like the worst day I had ever had, I felt like, in a long time. It wasn't like the worst day of my life, but it was like the most what the heck moments back to back to back. Let's do that one.
That sounds good.
Remember, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't know.
You'll know.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if you know right away. I was at work when this day started. I opened.
I know it.
Oh,
Wait.
shut up. And I was working retail at the time, and it was just a rough day. Customers were being jerks. My boss chewed.
Surprise.
Yeah, my boss chewed me out at one point for something.
Why'd your boss eat you?
Why? Shut up.
You shut up. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow. Ow, 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 ow,
My hand.
Haha.
Your
My
jaw.
face hurts your hand.
And I punched my own hand so many times it hurt.
Anyway. That's not the story.
So I was late that day too, so I got yelled at for being late, as well as the other stuff that was going on. So I get home and I'm like, man, today sucks. And I go inside my house and I'm like gaming or something. And
That's terrible, man.
mm-hmm.
Gaming is just, oh my gosh.
Okay, fine. And I was playing horribly. And so I go to check something, and I realize I left something out in my car. So I go out to my car to get it, and I reach into my pocket to get my keys, and then realize I had also left something else in my car. And this something else happened to be my keys. I don't even remember what the original thing was, but I do remember I left my keys in my car. This was my first car. Actually, no. That explains so much. I wasn't working retail. I was working at that store with you still, where we both got written up like a bajillion times.
Wasn't a bajillion. It was 9,822,000.
0.5.
I only got written up by half the time at one point.
I did. They're like, we're going to kind of write you up and not fill it out in case you want to do it later. I think it's still on the desk, even though I haven't worked there in years. Anyway, so
That was 2008.
which totally explains why it was such a bad day. But yeah, that's all what happened, but I had the wrong place of work. Customers are still being douches. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. It's whenever you drove your Pontiac.
Mm-hmm.
That was a piece of junk car.
Pontiac Sunbird, 1991? No, 1990. It was maroon.
I didn't think it was that old.
Mm-hmm. Because I always was like, it's my age. Because, they always release that year, like, while you're still in the current year, then release the next year. Like, they'll release 2016 versions of cars this year before they release, or before the year 2016 even gets here. Anyhow, which I've never understood that at all. Well, yeah, it makes sense. It's that way they don't have to try to have new cars out in January.
That's true.
Any freaking way. So, this is not the first time I've locked my keys in my car. But it was still, I didn't get my license until I was 18. Different story. Just strenuous circumstances. Anyway, so I had not yet gotten a spare made. This is like my fourth time locking again, so I'm like, of course, this would happen. So, I have to call the police department. Because I don't know where you guys live, but we live in kind of a chill enough area that if the police are on, kind of downtime, they're supposed to come help you with that stuff if they can. And so he comes up, he hands me a piece of paper, and he's like, you need to fill this out saying I'm allowed to jimmy into your car. And I was like, what's this for? He goes, well, it's just to, justify if anything breaks, I'm not liable for it. He's like, but I know what I'm doing, so it'll be fine. And this is an easy open pop-up.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign that.
How would you get in your car, Ben? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yes, you would sign it.
If he breaks something, he's liable.
Mm-mm. Anyway, so he has me fill this out, and I'm got the paperwork sitting on. Imagine, if you will, my mom's car is parked in the left spot. This is when I was living with my mom first time. My car is parked in the right spot next to hers. So he's fiddling with the door already, and I'm writing on the back of her car, not on the car. Like, I got the paper, the what's the word I'm looking for here? Piece of paper that gives him
Permission to
legal immunity to anything. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That paper that the cop gave me was like, fill it out, man. Donut. I was like, okay. So I'm filling out this paper on the back of my mom's car, and it asked for the date. I asked him what the date is, and he didn't hear me. He's an older guy. So I was like, okay, fine. I just pull out my phone, look at it, set my phone down, finish filling out stuff, and hand the guy the paper. So he asked me to come over, and he's checking something, and I'm helping him try to see where everything's at. Because for whatever reason, it wasn't working as easy as he thought. So he had to actually try to pop the lock a different way. So we're working on it. It took about 10 minutes to get my car unlocked. But in the series that time, my mom comes out. My mom worked nights at the time. So she was like, hey, gotta go, kiddo. Guy. Tuckifer. And I was like, all right, Mom, love you, bye. So she gets in her car, she goes to work. So we're working on my car and everything. And he finally gets it open. I'm like, thank you so much, man. So he leaves. I get the thing I needed out of my car and I go inside. And at this point in my life, my phone was always going off. Always getting text messages. I was averaging about 20,000 text messages a month. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I also didn't. Also, with getting my license when I was 18, I also didn't get my first cell phone until I was like 18. And yeah, just over 18, because I was able to pay for it myself. So I had only had my phone for maybe a year at this point, if it had even been a year. But
yeah, the Envy.
I'm sitting there. Yeah, the Envy 2. No, the Envy.
Yeah,
the original Envy.
Yeah, you had all three of them.
No. I had Envy, Envy 2, Envy Touch. I didn't get the Envy 3.
Right.
And then I got the iPhone
4.
4. Is there an S at the end of that?
No, you had the 4. I had the 4S.
Yeah, I had the iPhone 4. 4, no S. And then I, after that, upgraded to the iPhone 5S, which is where I am now. Anyway, Apple's not giving us any money for this story, so let's move on. Right. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, my phone hasn't gone off in a long time. And I reach for my pocket, and it's not there. And I'm looking around for it, and I was like, okay, when was the last time you saw it? And I remembered.
When you pulled it out?
I pulled it out to fill out the paperwork and set it on the back of my mom's car.
And now she's gone.
The one that she drove away with. Now, this was before OtterBoxes and, like, phones having stick-resistant stuff on the back of them and stuff like that.
You know how many times you dropped that Envy?
Dude.
Envy went through crap,
dude.
Hey,
I still have those phones.
Yeah,
they are not in good condition.
It still works.
One of them is completely off of the hinge because it was like one of the open and the keyboards inside.
That's the Envy Touch.
That's the Envy Touch. One of the hinges is actually completely gone.
Maybe that was the Envy 2. That's the Envy 2.
The Envy 2, the inside screen didn't work at all, and I only had the outside of the phone, which limited the phone by like half.
Yeah.
And I went through like 4 of the original Envies. They kept having to give me new ones.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Back to the story.
So I'm like, holy cow, my phone's gone.
Because holy stuff.
You can't tell me that when I said this like 6 or 7 years ago. Get over it. I'm trying to be accurate. Holy cow is what I said. So anyway. So I'm trying to figure out where my phone is, and I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, yeah, my phone. My phone was my baby at the time. I was obsessed with it a little bit. So I finally remember that that's happened, and I get out and I walk the entire length of our neighborhood all the way to the exit, checking the road and the yard or the grass on both sides. And I'm like, dude, my phone is gone. Crap. So I walk back home and I'm sitting there and I'm mad and I'm like, dang it, where the heck could it be? Trying to figure out what I should do, where else I should go. But I'm assuming at this point someone's picked it up and been like, sweet, new jacked up phone because it fell off a car. So
at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. So about half an hour later, Ben shows up on my doorstep. And I was like, what? I'm like, by the way, I don't. He goes, he holds out his phone and goes, I know where your phone is. I was like, what do you mean you know where my phone is? And he goes, someone's on the phone. So I pick it up, or I take his phone. I was like, hello? This guy's like, hey, I got your phone.
Thanks.
I was like, for real? And he goes, yeah. She had apparently gotten like half a mile away and turned at a 4-way stop, and then it fell off in the middle of a 4-way stop. And it just so happened this guy was on his bike, biking by. Saw it fall off and picked it up. Finished his ride, got home, and then tried to call me because, trying to talk on your bicycle. Not necessarily the safest thing in the world.
No.
Especially he was an older guy, so definitely not. So I'm like, oh man, are you serious? He's like, yeah. So I gives me his address. I go and I pick it up. I offer the guy some money for it, and he didn't want it. But I asked him, I was like, what made you call him? Out of all the people in my phone. Because, he could have called my mom, who'd have been at work and it wouldn't have been any good. Could have called my dad, who lives like an hour away, wouldn't have done any good. And he's like, well, he was the last guy on your phone that you would talk to on the phone, so I figured since it wasn't a business, it'd be okay to call. I was like...
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was doing at the time.
I was like, all right.
Matter.
Yeah, but he came over quick, which was great.
Yeah.
So...
That's what buddies are for, man.
Yeah, I got my phone back, but man, that day sucked. I think I might have stubbed my toe at one point.
Crappy day at work.
Yeah. And then Ben told me he didn't want to be friends with me anymore.
I never said that.
Yeah, it was the worst day ever.
Dude, if that was ever gonna happen, it would have happened 7 years ago.
For real. At that job. Yeah, Benigma and I have gotten our share of tussles and arguments, but we're gonna be best friends forever, isn't that right, buddy?
Yeah, technically we've only got like 2 big arguments.
Big blowouts, yeah, but we get in arguments all the time. Just they don't ever last past the 5-10 minute range.
Yeah, only one was actually my fault. It was my stupidity, but that's beside the point right now.
Yeah. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this story. This was a little longer than normal. I'm Tuckifer.
And I'm Benigma.
And this has been Story Time, or maybe it's true.
Maybe it's not. We let you decide.
See you guys.
See ya.